This is an area we're very passionate about, that there's a really big problem in the US. But instead of making like a pill or a powder supplement or like a new goo, why don't we create yogurt that already 92% of Americans eat every single day? And we have an expiration date, right? We're not just like, we can't just sit on the shelf for a year. We move product within 2 months. Our name is Benny, What happened was there was another Benny out there. They unfortunately filed for a trademark 24 hours before us. So they came after us and, required us to change our name within 7 days, or else they were taking legal action.
Here, we celebrate the one who are brave enough to be in the arena, because there's a saying, no failure, no stories, so just fell forward.
Oh.
So you were in Hong Kong, right?
I was in Hong Kong.
Yeah, how was it?
It was great. I mean, it was just for fun. I was in Hong Kong with my boyfriend's younger brother lives in Hong Kong, and so we went on like a little family vacation there, and it was right before I quit fully to do this full time.
Nice. And was it like how long was the trip and everything?
The trip to Hong Kong was like, it was in Southeast Asia, and that was probably about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
Do you prefer Hong Kong or New York, Manhattan?
Oh, so different. So different. I mean, Hong Kong is like way cleaner than New York.
Yeah.
Dirty.
We saw this.
I'm sure you saw all the trash and all the rats.
We reside in the Bronx right now.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mess.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here?
Podcast. So
podcast.
yeah,
okay,
you today and Damieo Massimo, I don't know his name.
Okay.
Later tonight.
Cool.
So yeah, I do a podcast for fun, and I interview entrepreneur. I aspire to be one day.
Amazing.
So I'm starting with podcast and taking advice, knowledge, and everything.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome way to do it. It's cool.
So you were a West Coast girl before.
I was a West Coast girl before. Grew up in California, in Northern California, in wine country. So it's like an hour north of San Francisco. Went to Stanford, which was like, an hour and a half south of there. And then ended up living in San Francisco for a few years.
You did a degree in biology, right?
I did a human biology degree.
And
You've done your research.
Yeah, I've done your research. And after that, you went into equity, right? Or finance?
Equity, yes, finance, yes.
Why? How? Yeah, I think it's not quite the same, right?
I mean, I didn't think that I would be in finance for sure, but I did know that I wanted to be in a place where there was going to be great mentorship and I would learn a lot. And a lot of people go into startups from Stanford, and I was looking into that, but I wasn't sure that there was going to be the structure and the mentorship that I actually wanted, and so started recruiting and came across the firm that I ended up working for, and honestly fell in love with my boss. Like, that's
nice.
The reason I went, is I think she is fantastic, and that's the advice I give to like every young person who's choosing a job. It's like, choose a job where you think your manager will advocate for you and also teach you a lot, and I learned a lot from her. Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah.
So now you were born in the West Coast.
Yes.
You did a degree in biology.
Yes.
After that, you came into finance in New York. And now you make the switch of founding Sourmilk.
Yeah.
But before it was Benny. How's the processes? How did the idea came? How did everything happen?
Yeah, totally. So I'm doing this with Alon, who is my best friend and co-founder, and she might walk in at any moment. But I mean, it was really like our brainchild together, and she actually started making yogurt to help heal her own gut when we were living together in San Francisco. So we both went to Stanford together. That's how we met. And it wasn't ever like, we need to found a company, we need to start a yogurt business, like this is what we have to do. It was more that we both feel passionately about healing and health, and America has a lot of gut health issues.
Yeah, I see it was like 2/3, I think.
Two-thirds Americans have gut issues. And I feel like that's an underestimation. Because Yeah, because if you think about it, those are just the people who report or who test. Yeah. There's so many of us who don't do that.
So all the people that report, there's like 200 million people that have... That's crazy.
Totally, which is crazy. And we're now at the frontier of understanding gut health and understanding that actually it has so many downstream consequences, like Alzheimer's, like cancers, like chronic illnesses. Those are all related to gut issues.
Wow.
And so when we thought about what we really wanted to do next, we felt like we had both learned a ton in our careers of 4 years in our previous jobs. And how do we want to apply this? This is an area we're very passionate about, that there's a really big problem in the US. Let's apply ourselves to that area. But instead of making like a pill or a powder supplement or like a new goo or like something you gotta like introduce a new habit of, why don't we create yogurt that already 92% of Americans eat every single day why don't we just put it in your yogurt? So you can have all the probiotics that you would find in like a healing supplement, but actually in the thing you eat.
And what are the probiotic? That's
probiotics.
Right? Yeah, probiotic. Well, that's not
like, there's quite a few. I could rattle them all off to you, and they're going to be all these like crazy names to you that probably don't mean that much.
Let's try it.
But essentially, it's, you know, they're all we find them from our different culture suppliers. We've chosen the specific probiotics that have clinical studies behind them, so that way we can say, hey, like, this is actually what it's doing for you. You know, we're not actually running the clinical studies because we do not have that capital or like any of those expertise, but there are other people who have done that, and so we're choosing probiotics that fall in those categories.
So in your yogurt, yogurt, you have all the good stuff, and does it have like protein too? Because I think it's a big like a new mud right now. Like a lot of things have protein, like Joe with the Sourmilk case and everything. Totally. So yours everything got to.
Yeah, and I would say it's very similar to Joe. I think Joe's whole ethos of protein is, you know, let's take something that already is naturally high in protein and let's market that and show the world that this is a really good source of protein. There are plenty of yogurts on the market that are adding a lot of additives to their yogurt to get high protein content. But in reality, Greek yogurt already has a high protein content. Yeah. So we're just taking milk, which already is high in protein, straining it, creating this yummy, delicious yogurt, adding the probiotics, and that's it. And you're already going to get, you know, 15 grams of protein per serving, plus all the great probiotics that you would find. So high protein. Nice. Sure. But naturally.
Yeah, naturally. Yeah. That's good. And when you first got the idea, I mean, was it, I know that your friend was doing it before, but you just came with the realization that it was important to go with it? I know that it's a big house market of like, I make the mark of, I think it's like 92% household penetration. Totally. That is crazy.
It's crazy, right?
Like, it's really crazy. So
really
92% of people eat yogurt on a daily basis or weekly basis.
Yeah. And
wow.
I mean, wow. Yeah, totally.
Wow.
I mean, America is like a dairy state, you know? Like, they love dairy, and I think there's a really good reason for that, is that it is going to have all these naturally great macronutrients that we need, and also micronutrients that you'll find in a lot of the dairy milk. And so that was something we really wanted to capitalize on. The reason we like even got to yogurt was, yes, Alon was making it before. She was an athlete in college. She rode, and they consumed so much Greek yogurt as part of their, you know, training. And
it goes with everything.
It goes with everything, and it was just easy to consume, and it's, you know, caloric and gets all the macronutrients, and it's great after practice. And so she was like, what better vehicle to like culture all the right probiotics than yogurt itself? Because there's only a few cultured foods that are actually part of the mainstream diet here in the US. So that's really why. And then we were both sort of thinking on, what do we want to do next in our careers? And we were exploring a lot of different options. We were talking to like early stage healthcare startups, like all these things, just independently. And one day she woke up and she had like her aha moment. And she biked over here and was like, I think we need to do yogurt, Kiki. Yeah. I think this is the thing to do.
And nice.
I was like, you're insane, but here we are. So.
That's good. And this fiber of entrepreneurship, did it came from maybe your parents are entrepreneur, your grandparents? How did you have that fire inside your belly of like,
we should do this.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, my dad is an entrepreneur, so he also has done this as well in a very different space, but still, I've learned a lot and just seen that. My boyfriend is an entrepreneur, so I've watched him grow a business and build that, and that's also really amazing, separately in a totally different space. Stanford, it's like in the blood. You know, like every other person at Stanford calls himself a founder at one point or another. I never thought that I would be in that position.
But here you are.
Like, here I am. So I do think that there is like this creative, I would say, I never was like, oh, I'm entrepreneurial, but I would say I'm very creative. And I love thinking and exploring and creating different things, and this is just like a new means and a grounds to actually do it. Like this art, this is all mine.
You did this.
Yes, this, but also behind.
Nice.
It's all mess and wonky, you know. But
no, that's pretty good
in this space. So yeah.
Better than in our apartment in the Bronx.
not the same level.
No, we have a fake avant-garde.
That's hilarious.
So, how would I say this? When you had the idea and everything was forming and everything, how was the phase of 0 to 1? Like, I see that you have like, I think 30,000 K on Instagram follower, which is crazy. It's, you kind of grow it fast. how was the phase? How is everything? Because I know I once started trying to start a business in alcohol, and it was very difficult, very difficult. It was a total failure.
It's okay.
But doing it in the dairy business, I think it has kind of the same like problem. I would say,
Barriers,
you need to move the product in cold. You need to sell it with the, I don't know what is called in America, but like the dairy certified company. I don't know. So how was the phase 0 to 1, and how did you start selling in all the?
We're very much still in the 0 to 1.
Yeah, yes.
Let me just start by saying
that's
that.
okay.
So we are much like further behind than somebody like a Joe from Smear Case. We are not in any grocery store yet, so we're still sort of in that building space. But it is crazy, right? We have a lot of followers on Instagram. We have all this traction in a way that most businesses only get once they're in retail and once they're launched. And that was a huge part of our business model. When we thought about our strategy, we knew that we were a refrigerated good, like you said. We have to be refrigerated and cold chain throughout the entire supply chain, and we have an expiration date, right? We're not just like, we can't just sit on the shelf for a year.
Yeah, you can.
We have to move product within 2 months. That's pretty quick.
2 months.
Yep.
From the production to the selling point. Wow, that's really
quick.
close. Yeah.
So we need to have very high velocities, right?
Yeah.
We need to sell through as much as possible. So in order to make this work, we really thought, what do we have? What tools do we have to create a virtual line out the door? So the second we hit a grocery store shelf, we know we can sell through. We have such followers and people who really want to try our yogurt that we can sell through. How do we do that? Social media is really the only tool that we have. So the second we decided to actually start doing this, we decided one of us needs to be the face of this brand and needs to be out there and speaking to the camera and gain an audience and gain a following. And we both sort of tested out who was it going to be, and it had to be me. And it totally could have been Alon, but I think the video form is like not her natural strength. She's a lot better at writing, so she does a lot of our LinkedIn posts, a lot of our newsletters. And so I started creating content before we'd even come up with a name, before we'd even formed an LLC, like before we even got our permitting, like any of those things.
Was it business related content, or it was just like filming your daily?
No, it was like Damn My Lifestyle vlogs, but it was about business. So it was saying like, hey, my initial hook was, I'm quitting my job in private equity to start a yogurt company with my best friend. Like, we hadn't made any moves on actually doing it, but I talked about what are the things I'm feeling, what are the things I'm thinking, what are the challenges we're having to go through, all of these types of things. It was almost like a diary of starting a company a little bit, and that actually garnered so many people to really follow us and feel excited about our journey. So that way, the first time we came out with our logo, the first time we came out with our name, the first time we came out with an initial recipe, people were there and so excited to participate in that journey.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. And about your name, I think there has been a problem.
There has been a problem.
So do you want to tell the story and everything?
Totally. So our name was Benny. That's what we sort of, came to the world as. And we loved that name. That's how, we got so much recognition. It was through that. We created merch. We had so much excitement around it. And there was a real meaning behind it. So,
what was the meaning of Benny?
Yeah, Lebani in ancient Assyrian, it means yogurt.
Okay.
And so that's, like Labna. But it also meant for life. And so we loved that, play on probiotics is probio is for life. Yeah. And so we took Lebani and we shortened it to Benny because it's short, easy to say, almost has this anthropomorphism of, being a person. What happened was there's another Benny out there. They are B-E-N-N-Y.
Yeah, there's a drink,
Yeah, exactly. And they became aware of our name. And they unfortunately filed for a trademark 24 hours before us. So, yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yes, it's crazy. It's a bummer. And they came after us and, required us to change our name within 7 days, or else they were taking legal action. We tried to negotiate a coexistence agreement where we could say, dairy will never move into your space. They said, nope, we're not taking it. And so took legal action. And, we could have fought it, but it would be a lot of legal fees, and it's a distraction from what we actually want to be doing, which is growing and building. And so
it wasn't the right time to do it.
It wasn't the right time to do it. And you know what? In some ways, I'm like, I love Sourmilk.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think it's great. And
because I think the name of the brand is an important part of the brand,
totally.
But you need to switch it in 7 days. So it's kind of a quick time to. Insane. Oh, how did you do it? I see that you do it with people and like on your social. But I mean, it's
Totally.
kind of a good big decision to make.
It's a huge decision to make. I mean, we made the decision and then we gave ourselves more like 2 weeks to actually like come up with it. You could take months and months and months, but it's would eat you up, right? So you just sort of have to have a timeline to actually get it done. We like ate, slept, and drank names, like anything we did. You know, it's like Stanley Cup. Why is it called Stanley Cup? Frigidaire. Why is it called that? You know, like Hydro Flask. Why is it called Hydro Flask? Why is that a good name? Like every single thing. The New York Times. Why is it called the New York Times? We were analyzing names and what made a really good name. And we just started to create frameworks for it. So we knew that it needed to be short. We knew it needed to be, you know, can't be like 500 syllables long, right? So sour milk, there's like, it's like kind of 2.5 syllables. Sour milk. And so that was something that really hit. Number 2 was memorable. How do we make this super sticky? We have nothing on anyone. On Chobani, on Siggy's, all these big American yogurt brands, except our branding. And if we can make someone pause in the aisle for 2 seconds.
And just look at your project,
Yes, and even if it's a negative reaction that we garner, we get a reaction. And that causes someone to be a little more curious and look at the label. And that's what we need. And that's our competitive edge. So we needed that. And then the third was we really wanted it to speak to some value. And so for us, our values are, you know, we are a high probiotic yogurt that's designed for your gut. Sour milk reminds us that it's alive, it's fermented, it's full of these really beautiful alive probiotics. And I want you to think about that every time you're eating sour milk. That this it isn't just like a flat yogurt.
It's
processed. It's alive.
That's nice. But how did you start selling the yogurt?
Because how did we even do that?
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't think you make the product in your apartment. Like, do you have a supplier?
Yes. We're actually going tomorrow, so this is perfect timing.
Yeah.
We're going back up to our manufacturer tomorrow.
Where is it? Is it in New York?
It's in New York. It's up by Cornell in Ithaca area.
I don't know.
It's 5 hours. Yeah, so true. You're not here. It's like 5 hours north of here. So Alana and I are getting in a car tomorrow at like 4:30 and driving 5 hours. So
nice.
Yeah, so we had to go and find that person, right?
Yeah.
We had to find our manufacturing partner.
Yeah.
We went and visited many manufacturers and had to figure out who is the right partner for us right now in this moment in time when we're very small, and who's also the right partner for when we grow, because we want to be very aggressive with growth and scale. And so finding that was difficult, and I think we finally landed on a partner that we really love. And
nice.
We just did our first R&D batch, like our first test batch, literally a week and a half ago. So I can't believe you're asking me this, because I'm like, how did we sell? I
think you did pretty good. I saw the post on LinkedIn.
Yes,
I think it was pretty good.
We made 1,200 yogurts, actually a little more than that. And we sold through all 1,200 within 1 week, which is
1 week. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And it's not like we're in a grocery store.
No, only with people like, I think it was a drop spot you did. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It was like the most high friction experience. And we're, in order to actually click purchase on the website, you go to sourmilk.com, you go get sour milk, you can choose your pack. And in order to actually check out, you have to choose a physical location in New York that you will show up to for an hour and a half time slot. And you have to show up in that hour and a half time slot in order to get your yogurt.
That's crazy.
So we had so many people come and get yogurt. I mean, we sold almost 1,300.
That's crazy.
It's cool. It was really cool to see. And that's something where I'm like, if we didn't have any followers, like, how would we be able to sell?
Exactly.
We wouldn't be able to sell at all. Yeah.
And for a young entrepreneur listening, in the CPG world, it's kind of tough finding a supplier that will early in the journey go with you for a small amount of production.
For sure.
Because with the alcohol business that we once started, we were writing a lot, and they were like, you need to at least buy 7,000 cans. It was a big first.
Totally.
So how did you accept? How is the deal with them? If you can talk about it, like how do you do this for a young entrepreneur coming in?
That's always going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So like we, for example, we are about to make a purchase on our packaging, in the minimum order for the aluminum foil lids that go on the top, like it's sealed onto the yogurt cup, 150,000 units. That's crazy. That is so much yogurt that we have to sell.
Yeah.
What if we want to change our packaging lids? Like, we can't, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We have to buy 150,000 units. So there is not really a great way to negotiate on that front. And And so I think what you have to do is you have to have enough conviction. You have to build a customer base where you can feel like you actually can do this. So, for example, even our test batch with our facility, it was our first one. The minimum order we could do is 250 gallons of milk. Okay. And that makes 1,500 single servings of yogurt, right?
Crazy.
And a lot of people just do that and they toss it because, you know, they don't have a retail contract yet. Our packaging, you know, we are FDA exempt because we're still small batch, so we don't need the full nutrition label. But we sent that batch to the nutrition lab so we could get the nutrition label, right? We couldn't ever actually sell this in retail in the right way. So, I mean, my only advice to you would really be, and what we've had to figure out is push as much as you can, but know that there's not that much wiggle room. And then really build that customer base and have conviction that there's white space. And for us, the way that we did that was we did so many customer interviews. We did illegally make stovetop yogurt and sell it to people directly, friends and family, just to know, will people buy this? Are people willing to buy this at a premium price? And if they are, okay, we know that we have conviction to actually do this. So it was building that to actually like click, go.
That's crazy.
It's
crazy. And now, so it seemed like it's really early that you started this company. Was it a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really early.
We're very early. You've caught us
nice.
Like what? We started this January 10th or something like that.
This year?
Yeah.
So 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, 6 months ago. We just did our first production run and we sold through, which is awesome.
Nice.
So yeah.
Are you self-financed or you have a funding?
Yes, we're currently self-financed right now. That was a huge decision between Alon and myself, was we would like to push out raising any money for as long as possible. Just because we want to maintain ownership over this company, and it can be distracting to raise money. Like, you know, even still, we do take calls with VCs or investors or people like that. But it takes a lot of time and energy, and actually we have both put aside enough money because we've worked for 4 years. We sort of agreed upon, let's put enough money to actually do our first production run.
Yeah.
And are we okay to not make any money for the next 2 years? Can we pay our rent for the next 2 years and do this? And we had to really be honest with ourselves about that and make that leap. To be clear, I'm caveating, I still work part-time for the old firm that I was working for in order to pay my rent.
Yeah.
And she sort of has a similar gig in order to pay her rent. So we have to make things work, and there's sacrifices that we make to actually do that.
Wow, that's crazy. Just a quick... you have 30,000 follower on Instagram. And I think you said in the podcast earlier that you are trying to make the most loyal rate, or I don't know how to say it, the most convertible following to purchase. In 6 months, growing 30,000 follower is really a big job. Like, how did you, do you have advice? What were your steps to doing this, to being from 0 to 12,000? It's kind of big.
It is big.
It is very big, very big.
What is my advice? I think the biggest things are study content as if you're a creator. So many of us mindlessly scroll, and I think this is a huge shift. People always say, I want to be a creator. What are the tips? There is not a YouTube university necessarily. There are people that I've learned from, but the real way you learn is by consuming content as if you're a creator. So now I don't just scroll. I'm like, what is Alex Earl doing in the first 2 seconds of her video that's created 5 million views, right? There's something. Why did my thumb stop there, Kiki? Why did I stop on this cooking video and not that cooking video? So start to analyze your own brain and your own psychology as you view things, because that's what you want, is you want to create moments where you stop the scroll. I always say that to Alon. Sourmilk stops the scroll. That name stops the scroll. How do we come up with other moments and other things that can do that strategic legwork for us to create virality? So analyze why that happens. The second is you just have to get over yourself. The biggest thing for me was I just had to post every single day for 90 days. And
90 days straight.
One video. Yep. Oh my
Damn.
gosh,
yeah.
Horrible. But you just got to do it. And for me, I wasn't a content creator before this. And I wasn't even an iMovie person. You know, people who love to fidget with that stuff. Nope, not at all myself. And so I knew I needed to get in the habit of actually making and creating these videos and this short form. And so how do I force myself to do that? You have to do it every single day. you're not striving for perfection. You're striving just to get it done. And then after 90 days, look back on it. What went well? What didn't go well? What are people reacting to? You'll get feedback from audience, and you'll see what works and what doesn't work. And through those 90 days, there were some that kind of went viral. There were some that didn't. You know, I gained a lot of followers through that. And so then I could actually use that platform to do more things. So I'd say those are like my two biggest tips. There's like, you know, in the first few seconds, have a verbal hook, have a visual hook, tell a story, you know, make somebody else the villain, and you can really like tie up the storyline. Like, you want to create value for people. So whether that's through conjuring up some sort of emotion in them, or teaching them something, like, use your platform in a really valuable way.
You think it's more about the person telling the story, or more about like the content that you film?
It's a great question. I think it's not really about the person, but it's about the packaging. So I think that there's some people who film, you know, great, valuable content, but it's not packaged in a way that somebody wants to consume it. Maybe it's in a dark basement. I don't want to be in that basement with you. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in a beautiful space that's calming. Or I want to be on my city bike with Kiki, like biking through the streets of New York and experiencing what that looks like. Like, create and cultivate a world that's attractive. And attractive can be so many different places, but it's very clear, like, what's unattractive in terms of packaging. And so I think that's important. And I don't think that has to do with a person. Any person can create a space that somebody wants to be part of. There's so much room to do in that world.
It's crazy. And what was one of the biggest, not failure, but struggle in the early stage? Like, let's say, like, I don't know, you order like 1,000 yogurt, and half of it came with a deficient thing on it. Like, what is one of your story?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, the name thing.
Yeah.
That's a big flop for us. So that was number one. I mean, another thing is actually our yogurt packaging. We ordered samples from our packaging supplier, and we asked for blank samples, okay? They sent us samples with their name written so big over it that we couldn't sell that, right? We couldn't just slap a sticker on it. The sticker wouldn't cover the name. It was so awkward and looked so bad. Alana and I stayed up till 1 a.m. taking off every single sticker that our sample packaging came with and re-stickering it with our own stickers. And that was 1,500 yogurt containers. And we Yes, we watched through like all of Sirens, the Netflix series, together. And literally like had to unsticker and re-sticker 1,500 yogurt cups. It's so annoying. We're gonna have to do that again this week because we have another batch to go through.
That's crazy. I have one of those stories too. Now, I'm starting a little startup. I will do a latte in cans.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Yeah. So
I have some here you have to try.
Oh, yes. I saw them on LinkedIn.
No way.
And I really love what she's doing. I never
awesome.
try it. I know that she was at Expo West.
She was, yeah.
But totally.
Okay, she's a good friend of mine, and she sent me all these to give out to people, and so I'm gonna have.
I'll definitely try it. Great. So now last week I went to get my cans.
Yeah.
But I was driving there because I was taking one. I don't know the name in English, but palette in French.
Yeah, palette.
Yeah, palette. Yeah. So it's the same. And I emailed to my head of count, and I was like, if I pull up with my Prius, is it okay? He said, yeah, that's good. So I came, but the pallet didn't fit.
No way it fits in your
So the minimum order is like 506 cans.
Okay.
So we need to put all of them in boxes. So it took like 1 hour.
Yeah.
Then the boxes were too big for the car.
No.
So we depack, cut the boxes, repack it, and it was time to go.
I'm so sorry.
So,
no, it's a pain. You just figure these things out, right?
Exactly.
I know. That's exactly.
There's a quote that I love is like, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yes, true.
From the Mark Twain law, I think, from him. And it's totally me. I'm the most like side quest person ever. I'll just figure out.
That's so funny. Side quest.
So,
I love
like,
all the side quests.
I was just laughing at this situation because I was like, it's totally me. Like, the most random thing would happen.
Of course. No, it's just like that happens.
Yeah.
You know, that stuff happens. I mean, Alana and I were talking about the whole process. We're like, was that what we thought it would be? Like, no, our cup fillers didn't work. So instead of, a machine that dropped the yogurt cups down into the container where it got filled, I had to be that machine.
I
was taking the cups and putting them into the filler, and
And
we
the
were like,
mach-
struggling to take it. It was crazy, but it's okay. You just know your work.
Yeah.
You just figure it out.
There's a lot of people that are saying like entrepreneurship is really hard. What is your take on this? Because I know it's hard with my little experience.
Yeah.
But I kind of find it like funny.
It's so funny.
I mean,
it's so funny.
I don't think it's that hard as people are saying it, but it's kind of hard because you have all those different problems. I mean, I'm still living in my parent house. I'm 18 years old, so I don't have problem with the finance as some other have.
That's amazing, by the way.
Exactly.
You're 18 years old and that you're doing all this. Yeah.
So I don't have this like stress of money.
Yeah.
But I know that people have it because maybe I think you're cool at 25, 26.
Yeah, I'm 26.
So you need to pay your rent alone. So
I do have to pay my rent alone, but I don't have like children or
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have anything else to pay for other than my rent and my food. Those are the only things I have to do is just feed myself, right?
Yeah.
And like pay for my city bike membership because I'm running around on city bike all the time. Is it hard? I think it's hard because it forces you to grow in ways. It forces you to grow in ways you never thought that you would have to grow, and also so quickly in such a short amount of time. So I think that's what's really hard and really cool. Like I feel like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, not only am I doing the marketing, but I'm also having to like figure out how to do our finances and also our operations and also our
everything
thing, and also our this thing and this thing and this thing and our PR and all these things, right? And so you find your edges a lot quicker and in ways that you would never find your edges if you were not an entrepreneur. And so I also think that's like the most fun part of it too. Like I actually don't know that I would say it's hard. Yes, maybe it's a challenge.
But it's a good kind of way of hard. Like
totally, it's a great way of hard. It's like that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's why I did this, is because I wanted to feel so alive and energized by this experience, because I just like every part of my brain is lit up at all times. And that's hard because it's exhausting.
Yeah.
But not because it's like hard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What is your daily day? Are you like the hustle culture of like 12 hours a day?
I hate the hustle culture.
Yeah, well, you wake up at 10.
But I hate the hustle culture because
But I think it's
like,
fake for IG. I don't really think that everybody wake up at 5 and go to bed at midnight.
No.
Like,
also, by the way, that's horrible for you.
Yeah.
Sleep 8 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I am so about that. I have an Oura ring and I track my sleep every night.
Nice.
And I like send my scores to Alon, my co-founder. We're like, who's got a better sleep tonight? You know?
Is it working well?
Yes. Yeah, it works really well. I really like it. Anyway, I didn't get great sleep last night.
No.
About 7.5 hours, and I try to get like 8. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't like that hustle culture, but I do think working hard is important, right? And like this is something that I have so much fun doing that I want to spend all my time working on it. So it doesn't feel like work. It feels like stressful play, if that makes sense. Like I am still anxious about it. It's still stressful. It still takes a lot of my time, but it's really fun while I'm doing it. So my days, I don't know. I like wake up at like 7:30. I don't wake up at 10.
No.
I usually try to make time for myself and work out, and Alana and I both, that's very important to us, so we try to work out in the morning, and then we get our day started, and who knows what the day looks like. The past few weeks, because we have physical product, we are going back and forth from our warehouse in Long Island City to fulfill orders here in Manhattan or in Brooklyn, and that looks like a lot of carrying those big blue hydro flasks that you saw. Those are coolers, and that carries our yogurt.
So the 1,500 yogurt goes into those bags.
No.
That's crazy.
Obviously, like each of those only fits like 50. So think about like
at
any given drop, we do about like at most 100 yogurts that we do.
Okay.
And so people come and meet us, and we drop them to them. And
it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy.
But
crazy.
How the people are liking it, because they need to do a lot of moving, and like they need to go around the city, find a spot, and they seem like they like it, because you won't do it if you don't like it. So how's their interaction?
The real test will be, will they come back for the second batch, right? I think that's going to be the real test. We already have had people come back 3 times within this 1 week.
Nice.
So that's really cool. It's like we've had a really high customer retention just within this 1 week. People love it. People love it. We are selling 64 ounces, which I know like ounces is a US
different metrics
system, but it's really big. It's like this big of a tub.
Is it like the
big yogurts that you'll see in the grocery store? It's double that size.
It's double that size.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just listed them on our website because we made those for food service to do demos at events and like give out little samples to. And so far, like over 10 people have bought it, which
Nice.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like I expected maybe one person to buy
10
it.
people.
10 people, it still like doesn't sound like a ton, but like even still, somebody to have that much yogurt in their fridge, that's really cool. And we listed that like 2 days ago, so like that's kind of crazy and cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And do you make a lot of pop up, or do you
Yeah.
go a lot in a lot of store to try to get the product
Yeah.
in the head of clients and everything?
Yeah, we do a ton of pop-ups. I think a huge part of this is, you know, my audience is one audience, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of other audiences that we want to tap into, and I actually think the best way to do that right now, what we have on our side is like the in-person touch points. We are still just two founders running this whole business, and if you can meet us and if you can understand the story and hear it from us and taste our yogurt, that will do so many wonders for them to go and tell their friends, and they'll tell their friends and tell their friends. So we try to be in as many places as possible that our customer lives. So, you know, run clubs. So we were at a run club on Sunday. That is already organized. We don't need to organize the event at all. We just show up. We
With
DM
product,
them,
yeah.
Hey, can we bring you free product and do demos? And then we'll also sell here if that's cool. Yes, sure. Come by. We come by. We demo, they give us like a platform, we, you know, stand on a chair and like tell our whole spiel to everybody. All those runners, guess what? They eat yogurt every single day. They care about their gut health. They care about performance.
So it's like a perfect market fit.
Perfect product market fit. Exactly. Same with like, even if we think about supper clubs, there's a lot of supper clubs here in New York where they do like private dinner parties. Again, those people care about the quality of their food, what they're putting into their body. They're willing to pay a premium for, you know, better quality food. Shop at the farmer's market. Great. We get our yogurt in the hands of these like, you know, private chefs who are doing these types of things. We're able to market our product. Amazing. Now we have conversions into potential customers. So lots of pop-ups where, and we try to be strategic. It's both feel like we're everywhere, like we want to feel like we're in everywhere in New York City type of brand, but also in the right locations where our customer lives.
And are you trying to get into like Whole Food and retailers?
Definitely trying to get into those things. We're like not quite there yet, just because we, again, like I said, we're even still working on our nutrition panel, these types of things, but starting to have those conversations with the buyers at the retail. At different retailers here in New York, so that way.
And how does it work in the New York or in the US? Is it the same as in Canada? How does it work? Like, do you need to pay for SKU? I don't know the whole process of the US border retailers. I know a bit of the Canada one, but like how?
I assume it's probably the same as Canada.
Yeah,
I don't quite know.
Because I think we need to like we have like IGA and Metro in Quebec.
Okay.
So we need to have product, and we need to buy a SKU and like show the retailer that we have the marketing fund and everything that we can sell out there.
Yes.
And after that, if they accept, I think they buy us, and we're listing the product. So the whole IGA store can buy our product, but they're not obligated. So it's I don't know if it's quite that, but we had the discussion with them with the alcohol business, and it was that kind of
also alcohol.
It's different, exactly.
Because
so
there's more regulations around it where you can sell. So for us, it's like the biggest thing we think about our hurdles here in New York is we need to win accounts, which is retailers. So we need to get in front of them. We need to get in front of the buyer. Maybe I go to the local grocery store. I ask for the store manager. I give them the product, and then I ask for the buyer, and I get in touch with the buyer.
Okay, so you can like, without being in all the Whole Food, you can be in like one or two Whole Food.
Not necessarily for Whole Foods.
No, because I think they're pretty big,
and they're owned by Amazon now. But
smaller retailer.
But smaller retailers, so like smaller chains here in New York, independents. That's where we're sort of hitting first.
Yeah.
Because Whole Foods, depending on how big of a launch you do in Whole Foods, there's a lot of necessary trade spend, so you have to spend on marketing as a required line item, and that requires a lot of money, and as you know, we don't have that money, so I'm not quite ready for that yet. And you know, we've never done retail before, so I want to have conviction that we'll be in a retail store, and let's try a smaller partner first before we
see how it goes. And
exactly.
Is it like in your plan of one day finding some money for big launch, or you'll just stay like the more scrappy possible and try to have it all for you? And what is her name? Elan. So.
Yeah. It's a great question. I mean, I think that it's something we weigh. It's like we would love to have, I think having a, you know, even if it's a smaller slice of a bigger pie, that's still like a bigger slice.
Exactly.
In some ways, right? So it's more just like when the time is right. And again, I just go back to my priority is to grow. Like, it's to grow. And right now we have enough to get us to the first, production run. And so I want to put our heads down and get us there.
Nice.
Let's get us into retail. Let's get us there. And then, okay, great. Like, if that means we're going to need to fundraise to go from there, hopefully we have the numbers that we need to actually go and raise what we need. And so it's a not now question. It's like when the time is right. And by the way, like, we're doing things to set us up so that way when we do want to raise, we have those investors brought along for the journey, right? So when we first started out, we probably talked to, 15, 20 investors, just having initial coffee chats saying, we're not raising, but here's what we're doing, blah, 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 blah. And now they're on all of our emailing lists. We keep them up to date. They see what our LinkedIn is. They see that we sell through. They see all these types of things. And we'll keep them warm and engaged. And I think that's an important part, is like, I care about any value they can provide me right now, intros, whatever that may be, and any value I can provide them too. And so maintaining that network relationship before we're ready.
Do they give you advice, or do you have like a mentor? Like,
how all of the above. How do we even find anything out? I mean, ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT is a big hero of mine.
Huge hero.
I'm subs to the premium.
Yeah. They're our advisors. Right? Yeah. Okay. No, we don't have like formal, but there's a lot of people we lean on.
Yeah.
So, yes, some investors have provided great introductions for us that have been really helpful. There's a lot of people who are in the space that have been helpful. So Joe, your case, helpful. He's, just small little questions, great.
Yeah.
Easy. Laurel's, that coffee, great. She works with dairy, easy. Fire off a few questions, right? Same thing. There's another woman named Eli. She has a Labna company, also refrigerated dairy. Like, we have found the people whose products are most akin to ours and whose strategy is most akin to ours. And being able to tap them and really ask them questions has been the most helpful thing for us.
Nice. Yeah. And when you were in Expo West, were you did you have a stand, or no, you were just there for fun? How is that like? Because I'm trying to go there in March. I will really love it, because I think for the podcast I will have a lot of name and a lot of first introduction, and where Cafe will be around there.
Okay. It's an insane event. 70,000
people. Yeah,
it's
like crazy.
It's like a whole city is at Expo West. It's crazy. It's very expensive to go.
Yeah, it's in LA, right?
It's in LA.
And you need to pay
a ticket.
How much?
Like for a brand, to buy a booth can be at least $10K. And
to buy a booth?
Just to buy a booth. And then you have to outfit it. Like,
US?
Yeah. But, like, for you as press, I think if you
just to go and, like...
I think the ticket's probably, like, at $1,000.
It's
still something.
Yeah, it's good.
We were like, we don't want to pay that. So what we did was we had a friend who has a booth, and if you get a booth, you get tickets.
Okay.
Right? So, because people have to man the booth, right? And she didn't have enough staff to man her booth. So she was like, I'll give you tickets if you volunteer your time to work at my booth. And then I'll give you off hours to walk around. And she's awesome. She has a protein bar company. And so we both were volunteers of her protein bar company. We had her swag on, right? Like, while we were behind her. We had our set hours. And then she was really nice and kind enough to let us go for, like, half the day.
Nice.
So then we just put on our swag after
and
that.
Then,
and marched around the expo as...
Nice. I'll try this technique.
You should. Honestly, if you have people
I'll try with Jake Carl. He was on the pod, so I will ask him.
You should, yeah.
That's good.
I know. We're doing that. I'm doing that again for the Fancy Food Show, which is in a few weeks here in New York. And there's another.
Oh, in New York? What?
Fancy Food Show. You should look that up.
Yeah. And do I need to pay too, or is it? Yeah. Oh, we'll try something. Good.
Yeah.
That's nice. And
oh my god, I just noticed you have a New York City shirt on.
Yeah, I'm the most touristic person ever.
Yes,
yeah,
that's crazy.
I'm the most touristic person ever.
I love that.
I wear it in Montreal too, because I don't have that much dress. I need to go shop there.
You need to go shopping.
Yeah, it's really petty. No, petty. I think is the name.
Yeah.
So yeah, touristic guy.
I love it. It's cool.
If you were in my shoes, like now I've just received the cans.
Yeah.
My ex-stepmom has a coffee shop, so I will make the drink at her coffee shop. And also now I just need to receive the can steamer to sell the can, and everything will be ready to start selling. So what advice or what would you do to make the first step? Like I didn't start right now the content. I still thinking like how to do it and everything. But like, what would you do?
I would do content.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right away.
Right away. I mean, I think it's up to you and your brand, but if
I'll will be really with the my age of kid, like trying the university and CJEP kid. It's between high school and university, CJEP in Quebec. So really like the 18 to 25 years old. So like the Gen Z, I think we are. So the Gen Z people, like I will do this will be
Them.
because we are, I think, in the generation where using a can for coffee, it's like more and more popular because Starbucks are really quick. I know my grandmother, like every morning she pour her coffee in the espresso machine. It's like a bit slower, different beat, but us in our generation is like fast paced. So I think it's a great idea to start with this. But yeah, content, as you're saying.
I mean, that was what worked for me, and I think that there's something that even what you just said. I just got the cans. Now I'm gonna make this in my ex stepmom's, coffee shop, and then I have like the thing to actually print on the cans. Like, if I'm a consumer, I want to see that.
Yeah.
I don't even know what all these cans look like. Like, show me what the raw cans look like. Show me that it doesn't fit in your Prius. Like, I want to see that.
Yeah, I film everything.
Yeah, exactly. I want to see that raw footage, and then I'm like dying to taste it because I saw that it was being made at this coffee shop, and that you're actually behind the counter and doing that, and then what does it actually taste like, and I'll be ready and excited to buy it. So that would be my one like piece of advice, is just like all the decisions you're making right now, just capture them and then just put them online. Like, see what people think. I don't know. It doesn't. Also, you could just use TikTok because it's like so scrappy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a trash zone. I just like put whatever there.
Is it better for you on TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram is better.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Instagram more than TikTok.
Same. And I don't know how to use TikTok very well, but it's sort of my like testing ground.
All right. So
and you feel more anonymous. You can just chat there, whatever. The other thing would be like tap into what you have. So what you just said, it's like these 18 to 25-year-olds. Are there institutions that they live and exist? Are there clubs that really people are there? And can you get your cans in front of those people, like what we do here with the running clubs? But if you're part of like a school, or maybe where your high school was, or whatever it is, like, can you just go and set up at pickup? Or when people come to school and they want a coffee, like, can you just be there, set up with a little stand, and just have people pay, and like just come and try, or whatever it might be. And just like get in front of people when they want that product.
Get in front of people. There's a thing that I think is like in Montreal. I don't know if you have it here in New York, but there is more and more alcohol-less vibe. So people are doing like party in coffee. Non-alcoholic party in coffee.
Totally.
So
Yes, exactly. Maybe you could try that.
Yeah,
it's like a caffeine drink. Hey,
hello.
It's okay. This is less formal. Not so formal.
It's good.
That's Alon.
Hi.
We're talking about you a lot on the podcast. Yeah.
So, what is next for Sourmilk?
What is next for Sourmilk? Cute. Look at this whole setup. You need to take a photo.
Sick.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
What's next for Sourmilk? I mean, like I said, we need to iron out our production process, so that's why we're going back up to Ithaca this week, is I want to make sure that our whole process is as optimized and where we want it to be as possible. And then from there, like, we do want to actually have a launch this fall, and we're thinking about what the right retailer partners are, and so starting to talk to those folks. We also want to think about, is there a way that we can deliver yogurt to people here locally in New York City on a weekly basis, as if you had a milkman in your backyard? And so really trying to figure out those logistics, that way we can sort of like launch with a bigger boom.
Nice.
Yeah.
Two last things to wrap up the podcast.
Okay, let's hit it.
Are you more of East Coast or West Coast girl?
Oh my god.
Which is better?
I'm a West Coast girl.
West Coast?
I love the East Coast, but I love the West Coast more.
That's a good choice. And the last thing, tu peux passer mon crayon puis mon livre, s'il te plaît? It's a tradition that we started. You write a piece of advice or a quote that you like in this book, and one day we might sell it. So you just write your name, time of date.
Okay, amazing.
Joe was the first one.
How did you meet Joe?
So I DM him on LinkedIn and was like, I'm going to New York. Would you be down to be on the pod and everything? And he was like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And he's been since then one of the most like kind people I know. He's always helping me. So
that's cool.
yeah,
That's
nice guy.
Cool. He's a really nice
Yeah.
guy. He's making a canned like coffee company, so I'm gonna have him try a little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I do this like while I'm on camera? I'm nervous about
Yeah,
it.
yeah, you do it. Take your time. It's okay.
What are you gonna write?
I don't know. I was not
Everything.
prepared for this. Everything.
No, like, as you feel, as you feel.
Okay.
I'm by Xavier, by the way.
Go on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many podcasts have you guys recorded?
2 today.
All CBG people?
Yeah, yeah. Now the first 5 podcasts, I was doing it with 2 of my friends, and we were meeting with all entrepreneur. But now I'm doing it alone, so I rebrand and are focusing on CPG entrepreneur because I'm trying to enter in this market. So, yeah.
What about you guys?
Oh, where his friend helped.
Yeah, but talk about your business. Talk about your business.
Well, actually, we have a business too. It's just like he asked us to come because he needed people behind the camera. And he's like, you know what? Hey, why not? Let's go to New York. So yeah, we have a clothing brand. So we do that. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, you done? Do you want to read it for the camera?
Oh my god, I'm nervous about that. What the hell? No.
You didn't know?
No. Okay, yeah. I just said 2 sort of quotes on the same thing is done is better than perfect, and perfection is the enemy of progress. I think on what we just said about like all the content stuff and even just being an entrepreneur and how hard it is. You have no idea like, you know, what the right decision is, but you just got to make the decision. Because that will be progress. And then the other thing to think about is like what is play for you that's work for other people, and that's really where, you know, this zone of genius and where
Exactly
what we were just talking about. It's not actually hard. I wouldn't categorize any of these things as hard. It's just a really fun challenge, but that's because it's play for me and for Alon.
Yeah, that's nice. Good. But thank you for coming.
Thank you.
It was very
coming
nice.
to my house.
we don't have office. We go everywhere.
Where have you been doing the other ones? Where'd you do
We are doing at NYU in the
Cool.
Leslie Entrepreneurial Lab, I think. So yeah, we're doing it. Yeah.
Well,
We're a nomad. We go
you're
everywhere.
nomadic. I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so that's
guys,
pretty
for
it.
coming through and setting this whole thing up.
Yeah, it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
That's good. Yeah, thank you for.
Thank you.
Just before, a quick picture. You let the light die.
Oh,
Yeah. Good guy.
it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Photo avec Kirsten.
Tu veux ton set?
Non, non, vas-y, tu me le drop pas tantôt.
Okay.
Quick photo.
Horizontal.
Both sides.
Alright.
Thank you.
And let's give you guys cans of coffee.
Yeah, I want to try
Oh,
this.
yeah, I want to try this.
Okay, great. Here.
Let's
Dang.
on record.
Thank you. I got diabetes actually, and like my mission is
then no.
has a problem right now, so I can't
That's okay.
use it. But thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
For you guys.
I'm not a big.
Or you guys can take down all your stuff, but I'll just put it here.
We're in no rush.
Or you can drink it now, whatever you want. How was lunch?
It was great.
C'est bien?
Yeah, c'était parfait.
50 minutes, je suis quand même vraiment bon.
Ouais, non.
Yo, vas-y, j'étais comme. Là, j'ai vu le temps, je suis ok, je suis good, j'ai encore fait ça.
The shakshuka thing that I sent you. I sent
Oh
you
yeah,
but I want to do it with the yogurt on top.
J'ai hâte de finir, je peux fermer la caméra.
Ouais, ferme la caméra.